welcome everybody to Midweek Meditation. I'm Wendie Lash with the purple hair and the purple jacket today. We are doing a Metta, loving kindness meditation. So feeling the fullness of loving kindness, love to ourselves, friendliness to ourselves, and friendliness to others. I like to acknowledge that I'm in Redwood City, California, and that is traditional Ramaytush Ohlone unceded land. I hope you all get a chance to figure out who were the natives of the land that you live on and be able to honor them. I'm going to do that this year in my Passover Seder. I have to send the link out ahead of time, have everybody honor the native land that they were on. Passover is coming up on Saturday evening, if that's something that you participate in. And so I'm going to just say a little bit about that at the end, but since I mentioned it here, I just, there we are. So this week, we're going to look at themes that are elevated by this week's Torah portion. No surprise, I've been doing that for the last few months. This is week 45. This is our 45th meditation since lockdown in the pandemic. And this week's portion is Parashat Tzav. We're in the book of Leviticus, which for me has not been one that I've been traditionally found a lot of meaning in. It's the whole book is about sacrifices. And we, thank goodness, don't do sacrifices anymore in Judaism. In most faith traditions, we don't. There may be a few out there that still do this, but most don't. And so that has been, we've transitioned spiritual practice to other things. I talked about this 2 weeks ago when I did meditation, that when the temple was destroyed for the second and final time, then the rabbis figured out, well, what are we going to do if this is a spiritual practice that brings people close to that divineness and connects them? What are we going to do? We're going to put together a prayer service with liturgy. And that is how prayer services came about. So to replace sacrifices. But there's something spiritual about the sacrifices that even though we don't do them, we can actually look at what's going on. And there are different kinds of sacrifices. In this particular portion, they're all listed. And so it's a good opportunity to look at that. And just as a reminder, if you weren't here a couple weeks ago, the word for sacrifice in Hebrew is korban, and that is the same root as the Hebrew word karov, which means close, to get close. So the idea is you do a sacrifice to get close to what is holy, to God, to the ground of beingness, to the divinity and love place in yourself. So the categories that are listed in terms of sacrifice are the olah, the burnt offering is how that's translated. The offering that you sacrifice this animal and everything is completely consumed. You let it completely transform on the altar, nothing but smoke and ashes left. And then you have the mincha offering, which becomes a meal offering. So you add a little flour to it, a little oil, little fragrant things. You burn it and you eat it. And you eat it communally. Then there's the chatat offering. And chatat you may recognize if you think about the Yom Kippur liturgy. Al Chet Shechatano, we talk about, for the quote unquote sin. And, we beat our hearts for the sin that I did of this, for the sin that I did of that. But another translation of chatat is missing the mark, like an arrow missing the mark. So the chatat offering is, I'll call it the missing the mark offering. It's for unintentional wrongs. I like I didn't mean to do that. But I hurt somebody. I didn't mean to do that. I didn't, I didn't think about it. I ate your cow, or I'm thinking back to biblical things, but we can think of modern things. I wasn't in my best place. I was unskillful. It wasn't an intentional, but I did something, and I want to atone for that. I want to return. I want to ask for forgiveness from myself and from the other and from God. So that's the chatat offering, and that's eaten by the priest and his family after it's sacrificed. So it's not completely burnt. The asham, we might also recognize that from Yom Kippur liturgy. We say asham nu, but we did. The new is we. So asham nu, we were guilty. So it's the guilt offering. So this is an offering of something that you have guilt for. Like I know this is here. I want to ask for forgiveness for myself, from God, from others. So I'm going to do this asham offering. And that was eaten by the priests and their sons, only the priestly lineage after it was sacrificed. And then there's the shlamim. So the first four categories are all things, I didn't do something well. I need to offer a sacrifice. I need to take something that I own and offer it up, and somebody else is going to either eat it or it's going to get transformed. The shlamim offering, and that's the one I would like for us to focus on today, is an offering. So you might recognize the root, shlamim, shalem, shalom. It's all from the same root. So it's a peace offering or a well-being offering, and that's not for a reason of I want to atone for something. It's actually a goodwill offering. It's a thanksgiving offering. It's a gratitude offering. I'm grateful, excuse me, I'm grateful for this in my life. I want to offer something. I want to gift something. And it can be eaten, and it can be for the community, and it can be for the priests. So we had these rituals which were done communally. They weren't, me quietly asking for forgiveness. They were, I'm bringing this because I did something wrong, or I think I might have done something wrong, or I want to be grateful and I want the community to witness that. And so when we think about rituals and bringing a little bit of Passover here, because so we have Passover, we have this huge ritual of Passover that many people do every year to commemorate the biblical narrative of the children of Israel being taken from slavery into freedom and becoming a people. And there's steps and an order to it. In fact, it's called a Seder, and the Hebrew word for order is Seder. So it's called a Seder because it's in order. And so we do a Seder in a prescribed order. These ritual sacrifices were done in a prescribed way. The priests clothed themselves and prepared themselves in a prescribed way. And we don't do that many things in a prescribed way anymore as moderns. If you're traditional Orthodox, or some other faith tradition, you may do things in a very prescribed way. But for most of us, we don't do a lot of these prescribed things. And we actually, it gives us a chance to sit back and reflect on, what might we be missing by not doing things in a very prescribed way? And I would say what we miss is a little bit of intention and kavanah. So when I sat down to eat my lunch today, I sat down to eat my lunch. But if I was a traditional Orthodox Jew, I would have first given thanks. I would have washed my hands. I would have eaten the meal. And I would have said even bigger thanks on the other end of it. Ritualizing the meal as not only a way for me to be grateful, but for me to feel closer to the divine, for me to take some time with intentionality and really appreciate the bounty of the food that I ate, or the clear water that I drank, or ritualizing and saying a blessing when you wash your hands. Judaism actually has a tradition of saying 100 blessings a day, beautiful gratitude practice. And so we, that reminds us of the gratitude that we already have, the blessings that we already have that are here in our lives, and to turn towards those, because it's very, very easy. And what we know about neurology in the brain is we are wired to remember what doesn't work. We are wired to remember the difficult. We are wired to remember what we did wrong. And that saved us, that saved our ancestors, that saved us genetically from falling off a cliff, from, falling into a hole, eating something that was poisonous. These are all good things. But in this time that we live in, where, our survival is usually not dependent on the decisions and the behaviors and that we have to unlearn focusing on the negative, focusing on what's going wrong, focusing on where we might have gone wrong, and return ourselves to the place of gratitude, the place of love for ourselves, the place of love for others. It doesn't mean that somebody who does something bad to us, we have to love them through it and forget about that. But if we sit and tell ourselves a story over and over and over again, all we're doing is intensifying whatever happened inside of ourselves. And what we want to do is, bring light into, let's turn away from what's challenging, and let's turn towards what is good, what is sacred, what is loving in my life. So that is, and that's metta practice, that's loving kindness practice, that's gratitude practice, that's blessing practice, all these wonderful different traditions and ways that we can do that. Let's see if there's anything else I wanted to say here. Yes, I did want to say a couple of things. The portion also talks about, remember when we were back in Exodus, if you were here or listened to the recording, the Ner Tamid, the everlasting light that was part of the Mishkan, the traveling tabernacle, the traveling holy sanctuary. Well, as we're talking about sacrifices, we're talking about the Bnei Israel, the Israelites are, they still got the same Mishkan. They haven't entered into the land yet. They haven't yet built a temple. So there's a reminder of, you have this everlasting light in this week's portion. It's to never go out. You are to tend it. And I know I've used this analogy before, but I'll remind us. If we think of ourselves as our body as a temple, the temple for our soul, the temple for our heart, for our spirit. If this body is a mishkan, then what's the flame that we need to tend to not let it go out? What is that flame? And I would say that is the flame of love and loving kindness towards ourselves and towards others. We need to keep rekindling that, because we can lose it. We can be very critical of ourselves. We can be very critical of others. And then we are unsanctifying this mishkan that we are, that is our tabernacle for our spirit. And the last thing I want to say is, gratitude is sometimes about giving gifts. And it's not necessarily a gift, a physical gift or a monetary gift, but it's about the gift of being present. It's about the gift of compassion. It's about the gift of, assuming the best in ourselves and assuming the best in others. Not in every circumstance, but in general. So that's where that sets the stage for today. And there was this lovely meditation. Of course, I wasn't taking notes, so I don't remember exactly how they did it, but it was a meditation on, which was not your traditional metta meditation of phrases, which I've done here before. May I be safe, may you be safe, may you be strong, may you be content, may you be at ease, or something like that. But it was a very embodied visualization of tending the flame of love inside of us, and also feeling the flame I think they use a sun metaphor, the sun outside warming us, sending us love, and the sun inside of us that we want to tend. So I'm going to play around in that space with you all today, because the this week's portion is about tending that fire, keeping that fire burning. I thought I would light a candle. Some people really like the image of a candle, and if you'd like to at any point in time open your eyes and see the candle, I'll leave it on. And it may be that you just want to look at the image of the candle for a few moments, so that it's there, and then you can visualize, bringing it in, or you can visualize it being either encompassing you in the flame of the candle, or also use the sun metaphor. Um, and we're creating ritual together. We are sanctifying our time with kindling a candle, which is pretty much across traditions, something that we know, puts some intention into our time together. So I will start by lighting this candle and setting an intention that you may feel the candle inside of you, the warmth and glow of that loving spiritual place inside of you, and that you may feel the warmth and love, the abundant love that the container that we're all part of. We're creating this web of love here in this community and beyond, and that you can also receive it. We can give it and we can receive it, and there's no inside, no outside. It's all the same. So when I cultivate love for myself, I'm cultivating love for you. When you cultivate love for someone else, you're cultivating it for yourself. It's all good. It adds more love, compassion, loving kindness, forgiveness to our world, which needs it. Really, really needs it. So that's our intention for the meditation. And the chant that I wanted to do for you today to take us into our metta is, I've offered this one before. It's words by the Dalai Lama. Every day, think as you wake up. And the music is by Michael Carberry. And I will ring a bell to bring us out of the meditation a few minutes before our time. Every day, think as you wake up. Today, I'm fortunate to have woken up. I am alive. I have a precious human life. And I'm not gonna waste it. No, every day. Think as you wake up. Today I am fortunate to have woken up. I am alive. I have a precious human life. And I'm not gonna waste it. No, every day. Think as you wake up. Today I'm fortunate to have woken up. I am alive. I have a precious human life. And I'm not gonna waste it. No. So breathing in and breathing out, we find our breath and reconnect to it with more intention. If you want to close your eyes, you can. If you want to open them at any point in time and look at the candle, you can. I invite you to try and Pull yourself inward with each breath just a little bit more, letting go of your surroundings, noticing your body as you breathe. How do you receive your breath? How does your body open up to receive the breath? And how do you let go of that breath, preparing to take the next one? Breathing in and breathing out. That cycle that reminds us that we are continually in a flow of receiving and letting go. We can receive that which is healing and transformative, and we can let go of that which does not serve us and keeps us stuck. Breathing in light and love, breathing out and letting go of anything that is toxic and not helpful. Paying some more attention to the body, noticing the softness and suppleness of the front of the body. As you breathe in and out, the chest or the belly, the ribs, the lungs all move with the breath. But the back stays nice and strong, rooting the sits bones down, lifting the head and the spinal column nice, not overly extended, but just nice and strong, so that we can be both open and vulnerable on the front and strong and ferocious in the back, protecting ourselves. Just taking a few breaths to notice the softness in the front of the body, the suppleness, the movement, and the strength in the back of the body. And I invite you to, whether the sun is out where you are or not, at least remember, imagine, know that the sun is out there constantly, radiating its energy over the globe towards each and every one of us, towards you. Even if it's on the other side of the planet, it's still radiating that energy, that power that sustains all life. Without the sun, there would be no life. So the gratitude and imagining that as that energy of the sun is coming, is enveloping our whole planet, rays coming to each and every one of us. They bring love and light. You might even feel the warmth of that. Or imagine the sunlight on one side of your body coming and wrapping around, flowing around you, inviting you to open up to that stream of love and light. It's being gifted to you, to all of us at every moment. We don't have to do anything other than just receive it like a warm hug, like someone putting a blanket around you to cuddle and snuggle you. And breathing in and breathing out, letting that loving energy, sunshine embrace you, nurture you. Anywhere that feels like it needs some extra nurturance, you can direct that energy of the sun that love that's flowing. Maybe you have cold fingers and toes. You want to imagine that that's coming to warm up your fingers and toes. Maybe you have a pain somewhere in your body. And you want to imagine that love and healing can hold and be with that painful place, or some place that you know needs healing. Maybe there's a stuck negative thought in your head and you want to invite in to wash away the entanglement with that thought, with that person. Let yourself go. Give yourself the freedom in this moment of entangling those knots of any story that you're part of. And just let yourself be and receive love and loving energy, warmth and light. May you feel safe. May you feel strong. May you feel content. May you be at ease. And if it's helpful and you want to say phrases like that or something, even just single words, strong, safe, content, ease. And if words are not helpful, stay with that embodied sense of love, loving kindness, wrapping itself around you, cuddling you, being with you. Imagine every pore in your body open to receive love and light. And you can stay here as long as you like. You can return to this if you want to. Move to bringing that light inside and tending the flame, the holy spark that's inside of you. Imagining either a candle flame inside your body or a mini sun beaming sunlight from the inside. Feeling the warmth, the energy, and the power. Light and love that can purify stuckness, knots in our soul, places in the shadows where we need to dust out and bring the light in. And just like we have a ritual of searching for the chametz for Passover, we go and look in the corners of every cabinet with a candle and a feather, looking for crumbs of things that are all puffed up, to get rid of all those crumbs so that we can flatten ourselves and be in that humble place for Pesach, for Passover. We can search around in the corners of the cupboards of our spirit, of our soul, with this light that is inside. What are the crumbs? What are the cobwebs that we want to dust out and let go of? Is there somewhere to bring light and love into self-judgment or criticism, or into a way that we're holding on to a past hurt? So whatever way feels right for you, you can imagine illuminating those dark corners, maybe searching them out in your body, or imagining the stories that you've been telling yourself, and seeing if you can let them go up like a Ola offering. Just be completely transformed, and at least in this moment, not part of your experience. They don't have to weight you down. Anytime you need to, remembering the external loving warmth from the outside, as well as the flame, the sun that you are tending internally. You may even imagine that you're so open and porous that one traveling back and forth from the love and the energy and light from outside and inside are just, it's so simple, no effort. There really is no inside and no outside. It's all one. You may imagine your heart expanding as if breathing, tending the fire of your Mishkan, remembering your divinity, the sacredness of you. And it may have already naturally happened. People that you love and care about may have come into your awareness. You can simply stay wherever you are. There's no right or wrong. Or if you want to bring in dear ones, four-legged dear ones are also wonderful. Seeing how, as you send love to those that you love, it also expands your capacity for love. We're a conduit with love flowing from us and to us, feeling ourselves filled up by the loving warmth outside of us and inside of us, so that with almost no effort or maybe no effort at all, the heart just naturally flows to loving those dear ones that we have. You can imagine those of us here meditating today, some you know better than others, but sending that field of love to everybody here. Those we know, those we don't know, ones who are no longer with us, who are not here physically anymore. We can send love to them. And we can imagine that love, like energy, doesn't die, so that the love energy that we're sending out today continues on, reaching innumerable people in the present and in the future. Just like every cell in our body is made up of something that was here from the beginning, the love that we're cultivating, the loving kindness that we are sending out, radiating out, it too continues. Just naturally, no forcing, imagining it like an overflowing cup that's continually being filled. As that love keeps flowing, and as we allow ourselves to be a conduit for love coming in and love going out, we are transformed. One additional option is to imagine and intend for the love that you're cultivating, the fire inside you, the flame of love and gratitude for the love that you have in your life. Imagine it going out of you to wherever it's most needed in the world. It doesn't even have to be anyone we know. We're just adding to the loving vibration, loving thoughts, kindness, friendliness, our wishes that all people, everywhere, all beings, all creatures feel love and loved, and that we are part of that. Not forcing it, simply being part of the love stream. As we come near the end of our meditation, remembering and knowing that the love that we cultivate and tend, we can continue to cultivate and tend and return to this anytime we need it, anytime we want to send it out. It's our nature. So as we come back, when you're ready, you can open your eyes, move around if you need to. I guess before we say goodbye to those in the stream and on the recording, just invite you to notice and that the intention that we set really can help carry us. So maybe there's some place in your life that all you need to do is stop and breathe and have a little bit more intention to make that moment holy and sacred, to make that act one filled with gratitude, or one that is representative of the love that you have for yourself or for someone else. And I hope those of you that celebrate Pesach, Passover, um, have deep moments and gratitude for the liberation that we live in, and the divine in me recognizes and honors the divine in you. And we say, B'Tselem Yah.